Talking Memphis Wrestling with Randy Hales is now streaming live on Fun Media at fun927.com and is always on Facebook, YouTube, X, Twitch, and at tv5wrestling.com.
Talking Memphis Wrestling with Randy Hales and special guests.
Broadcasting live on January the 13th of 2026, broadcasting from where the Randy Hales story began, and that's my hometown. I'm sitting off of Stadium Boulevard in good old Jonesboro, Arkansas, the hub of Northeast Arkansas, about 75, 80 miles from the Memphis International Airport. And we're ready to go with a very big, exciting, fired up show today. It's Talking Memphis Wrestling, the second show that we have of the year. My brother from another mother, Randy West, good old Randy in the house. Hope the West clan, especially Holly, hope everybody's doing good today. My buddy Bo James is in the house watching this sucker. Jack Aaron, Carlton here, Lucian here, Richard Hood's here. All kinds of people are here as we are live as live can be on Talking Memphis Wrestling today. Michael had logged in earlier, said he'd be right back, said that he would be here at the opening of the show, and he is not here. I punch up Michael's camera. There you go. That is the set of Fun Media Group. That is the home office, home studio of Michael St. John, and he will join us in a little bit for Talking Memphis Wrestling. We have a big show today. We're going to go in depth of some old school studio wrestling, and we're going to teach a fantastic lesson, a school lesson today on television wrestling in Memphis. I'm really looking forward to this. We have some Channel 13 footage from the 70s, maybe the mid-70s, a major angle that increased the house by 2,000 people from a world championship Lawler Funk match the week before. They shot an angle with somebody that had never wrestled before and ended up doing 8,800 people. And that was absolutely the beauty of live TV, doing it Saturday, and you either fill it up or you bomb. And that's how we knew business was good for sure on a weekly basis. Do the TV on Saturday, many times, I think TV's great, we're going to sell out. Then it bombs. Then I say, that TV's crap. Then it sells out. The wrestling fans judge what they want to see. So, obviously, when I thought it was so good, it was not good enough to talk to people in. First time in a long time. I'm thrilled to death. I'm tickled to death. I am happy to say, first take time for the returning Chris Ellis from Southside, Arkansas currently. He's a Nettleton High School dude. Want to bring Chris Ellis in and welcome him back to Talking Memphis Wrestling. New look, Chris Ellis. I can't say anything. Go ahead.
I joked when I came to work Monday, I lost a hair match over the weekend. So I got the Bill Dundee from the 70s look, him and Beverly look going on. But it's great to be back. Hi, everybody. Been trying to keep up with the show because I love Memphis wrestling so much. My first take is how awesome it is that we have the footage and the cards and all these great things from the history that we can go back and relive. For the people like us who got to live it the first time, who love it so much, and B, for the new people who just frankly, to me, y'all missed the golden era. The 70s and 80s were the golden era, in my opinion, before it became all pay-per-views and whatnot. Vince did his junk and so forth. But just excited to be back, excited for the show, thankful to be part of it.
Calvin Lindsay, Randy ORH is doing very, very well. Man, again, I'm thrown for a loop because I was going to have Michael, because every week he comes in, usually when I'm doing my monologue in the beginning, but he's usually the second person in. So at that point, I'll let him sit there for 5 or 6 minutes and do a first take. Today, since he logged in early, whether you came in before he did or not, we had him punched in, so I was going to go to his first take, and he outsmarted me again. And this is what you call in a TV business, this is what you call an absolute stretch. I am stretching because you have one thing in your mind, you have the opening set up, you have everything set up, and we've just spent 6 minutes, Chris doing his first take, and we are going to Arab freaking Alabama. Most of the time, he makes fun of me for doing a fired up introduction. He doesn't like me bragging on me. He doesn't like me saying he's a broadcasting radio Hall of Famer. He doesn't like me saying he's an OG of this show. He don't like me saying he's the 2024 inductee of the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame. He doesn't like me putting him over. He doesn't like me building up. So I won't today. I'm not going to do that fancy interview. I'm just going to say, make welcome to this show. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bring on Michael St. John.
You sneaky son of a gun.
I gotcha.
You got the OG part right. I will say that. I'm an old goober. Hey, Coach. Good seeing you, buddy.
Hey, Michael. Great to see you.
Happy New Year to you. You look great. How's everything in school and basketball season? County tournaments underway. Things are getting warmed up on the basketball court.
It's hot and heavy. We're in the conference season here in Arkansas. It's six hard weeks here in basketball.
Not to get off of wrestling, but Coach, I haven't seen you in a long time. We're going through something in Alabama that you may or may not be aware of. Every 2 years, they redistrict everybody, the count and the whole 9 yards. And everything was supposed to come down at the state playoffs for football, and they moved it until the latter part of January. And now there's been a lawsuit. It looks like that Alabama is going to separate private schools from public schools this time around. And there's just all sorts of, the AHSAA, if they didn't, I'm not going to get on a rant here, but unfortunately, they have lost their moral compass and their sports compass. And everybody, it's now made its way to the state house. And in fact, I've got to be in Montgomery tomorrow. It's just getting crazy. And I hate to see what's happening in college football and college sports now start trickling down into high school. But Coach, I don't know if we can avoid it.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not sure it's avoidable, Michael, at this point.
It's an interesting dynamic. And I want to say, and Randy, then we can talk wrestling, but the big news out of my whole world is Vanderbilt football had a great season. Do you realize their girls and boys basketball team this season so far are both undefeated?
That's fantastic. And the football team was the best it's ever done.
NIL.
Thank you, sir.
Great equalizer. NIL.
Except if you're a poor school. And if you've got a poor school, they're not very good. Speaking of NIL, is it going to tip into the wrestling world? Because I'll tell you, I had an opportunity this past week I had a lot of paperwork to do, so I leave the TV on while I'm doing it. So I got a chance to watch TNA. I got a chance to watch AEW. I got a chance to watch WWE and NXT. TNA and NXT confuse me because they sound like railroad companies. But I'll tell you, the world of professional wrestling is gone off the rails, in my opinion. And I know this isn't a show we talk about a lot of current wrestling, but I just wanted to bring it up to you that I didn't realize after the week, and I started thinking back on it. I don't know if I watched wrestling or ballet with contact ballet. I mean, or contact.
You watch the current product that's making more money than there's ever been in professional wrestling.
I did, Randy, but I will also say it's making more money. I don't think it's making more money for people watching it. I think it's making more money for all the ancillary things that are going on, merchandising sales, promos, the talent doing most of the commercials now on the shows. I don't know if the product is selling it or it's just a phenomena of social media that has sort of fueled the fire of this thing. It'd be an interesting discussion.
Frank Seaton is, Michael, you will be interested in this. Put Frank's latest comment up there, and I did not know this. Arkansas State University got Vanderbilt, your team's quarterback coach, to be our OC, because our OC, what's his name, Chris? Keith something other, went to Iowa State.
He went to Iowa State. Keith Eckendorf went to Iowa State, and we hired the Vandy QB coach to be our OC, yeah.
And he's good. And he was trained under Jerry Kill, who is the offensive coordinator, came from New Mexico. And the quarterback coach was calling all the plays over the past 2 years. Of course, he had a great quarterback to go with it, but the guy's very creative. Yeah, I think Arkansas State, Coach Jones, I think is doing a good job at Arkansas State, brick by brick. I mean, it may not be building like, all of a sudden we're 5-5 and or 6-6, and next year we're 10-3, but it's building. And I watched the product. I watched the Arkansas State bowl game. They look good. They're a good, solid football team, and I think they'll get even better. And I understand the fan base is growing. Is that true up there, that they're getting even more fans?
No.
No?
No. It's to me way down than it was 5 years ago, Chris.
Really?
Yeah, we haven't won consistently since we went through 4 big coaches in 4 years that won a ton, and then Coach Anderson kind of let it slip, and we've not regained that momentum. And plus, in the state of Arkansas, all the politicians and all the big money people are hogs.
Gotcha.
So they're really pouring money into it, trying to keep them afloat. So it's not helped the Red Wolves much at all.
Okay, let's go now, Adam, with Bo's latest comment. And I promised we'll get into wrestling. I hate when it's 15 minutes in and we're not in.
Sorry about that. I'm the one that took it off the rails.
King of Kingsport says, and this is more Michael St. John shit. It says, RH, I can brag on Michael's radio station. I spend time in Alabama now, and that's what I listen to when I'm down there. Fun 92.7 and his country station are my 2 favorites in the market. So you got a big fan in the King of Kingsport, Bo James, Michael St. freaking John.
Well, first of all, that's a very kind statement, and I appreciate that more than you will know. I will say this back to Bo: if he's coming to Alabama a lot, and we've only gotten together one time, and I know his wife is down here, but when you do get some free time, my wife and your wife and you and I need to go out one night and have a little dinner somewhere in Huntsville and just chill, because this is the good time of the year that we can do that before we all get crazy when good weather gets here. Speaking of crazy, boy, the wrestling world has gotten crazy again. The WWE last night was in Dusseldorf, Germany, of all places. And they're in Belfast next week. So I guess they're on a world tour.
All right. It is time for our first video of the day, and folks, we're going back to Chris Ellis's original roots, and because I'm older than his original roots, we grew up on WHBQ television wrestling. The way we played it before, the way that show came on the air every week was this.
You'll see America's favorite sport on W.
All right. That's absolutely fantastic. Quick thoughts, Chris. How many times on a Saturday morning did you see that?
Every Saturday from like 1973 to it moved
1977.
till 1977. So what is that? 4 years, 4 times 52, 208 consecutive Saturdays.
Wow.
Because I don't. If I was now, obviously we were gone to the lake or somewhere sometime, family reunion or something when I was a kid, because I didn't control my own schedule, or I was playing Pee Wee basketball or something. But if I was home, I was watching wrestling at 11 o'clock. There no question. And the little microphones, the little cigar microphones, I remember that. They barely stuck up above Dave and Lance's hand. It was always weird to me.
Michael, your thoughts on that open, and we'll go with the second video.
Classic open. I was just, as that open started, there's a guy one of the wrestlers kicking the ropes. Is that Rowdy Red Roberts? I think it was. I don't know if we can ever. I'd love to identify the wrestlers that are in the clip at some time, because those are.
Let's play it again, Michael, on Talking Memphis Wrestling. We will look closely at that as we watch.
You'll see America's favorite sport on WHBQ television.
That was enhancement wrestler Bill Costello.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It looks like Tommy Gilbert in the front face lock.
Yes.
I was going to say that was Tommy Gilbert. Good. And the guy holding the front face lock, was that Irish Mike Clancy?
No, I don't think so. That was Bill Costello.
Yeah, that was Bill Costello.
Okay.
But Michael was talking about the guy kicking the ropes.
At
it
the
looked
very
like
start.
Tojo to me.
Let's say it again, Michael.
Sorry.
Let's watch it again, Adam.
You'll see America's favorite sport.
I couldn't tell.
It wasn't Tojo because the head shape is different. Tojo had a small round head. This guy had an oblong head. I think it's Rowdy Red Roberts. I may be wrong, but that's who it looked like to me.
It could be for sure. We're going to do a history of television wrestling in Memphis in just a few minutes. But I want to tell a story, and I was doing this earlier and saying this. Follow me, Michael and Chris, on this. The beauty of Memphis TV is on Saturday morning, you do your TV and you hype the Monday night card. Everybody with me? That's our bread and butter, the Monday night card. So after that TV, you were either ecstatic, fired up, and saying we're going to sell out, or this show is the shits and we won't draw a dime Monday. The bread and butter was the television show. I can't tell you how many times I thought the show was great, we didn't draw a dime. I thought the show was horrible, and we sold out. The beauty of live television combined with the beauty of wrestling in a town 52 weeks of a year is unheard of these days. Unheard of. That's the beauty of it. That's the excitement of it. Absolutely the excitement of it. Now, This particular TV, and I said this earlier, and Michael, I want you to listen to the numbers. On a Monday night, the week before this television took place, there was a NWA World Heavyweight Championship match between Terry Funk and Jerry Lawler. Hyped for months. Went with the road to the gold like Lawler did with Jack Briscoe that drew. However, this didn't draw. This was as much as past world title matches. It drew $6,500 and had built for 3 months. Well, this TV clip we're fixing to show shows a unknown wrestler with a sports background shoot an angle with the top star in the company. That show that played after this angle did almost 9,000 people a week after the Lawler Funk did 6,500. Michael, is that amazing to you?
That is, but also it's a local thing. You know, you got a local talent that is in another sport taking on somebody that is a pro wrestler. I could see the interest. Now, is this the where they injured the knee? Okay.
10 minutes, 18 seconds. This is Channel 13 Wrestling from probably 1976. 10:18.
If you think I'm going to go in the ring here and wrestle with this big muscle-bound clown sitting right here behind me, you got another thing coming. Now, he's already interfered in one of my matches, and I'm not going to give him the opportunity to do it again.
He is not going to do anything, Jerry. He's just simply sitting here. I asked him to come and watch the match, to watch you to wrestle in there, and that's all that I want him to do. Is just
well, I don't want him to do that.
Well, it's not.
So I'll tell you, well, no, maybe it's not going to hurt anything because I'm not going to let it hurt anything. Now, there's only one way you can have a match here today, and that's if he goes back to the dressing room. What is your aim in life, son? You want to be a wrestler? Is that what you're trying?
That's what it's all about, bud. I want to wrestle. I want to wrestle you, anybody I can get a match with. It's not so funny, man.
Is somebody to wrestle a guy. We got the license finally, where he can be a professional.
Well, this is not the way to go about it. You're going about it all wrong. See. You don't come out here on TV every week and try to be a big star in everybody's eyes when you don't know a hammerlock from a headlock. You don't come out here. You're going about it all wrong. What you do first is learn to wrestle.
You don't know how much he knows. He knows how to play football. He knows how to wrestle.
Wait a minute. Okay.
Come on, Jerry. Oh, okay.
Tell me how much the man knows.
Look, come on, let's get in there.
I got a few minutes. I'm not going to be wrestling anyway.
Well,
tell me exactly what the man knows. I'll tell you something. I know about him. I know I sat out here in the lobby the other day, and I watched him come out here on television and tell all of these people here, he said, I want to get this right now. He said, tell me if this is right. Football is my first love. That's what Mike Stark said. Football is my first love. But I got my knees messed up playing football. He got his knees hurt playing football. So now he thinks he'll wrestle. Is that what's going through your mind, Mike Stark?
Hey, man, I can wrestle you anytime, any place. I'm not scared.
You can wrestle,
I'll wrestle
Jerry.
you.
Oh, wait a minute now, wait a minute. Wait just a minute.
I'll wrestle right now.
You can wrestle, but you can't play football. Is that what you're trying to tell me? In other words,
I said I hurt my knees playing football. They're fine now. I can squat 700 pounds, buddy.
no, what you're trying to tell me is your knees are too fragile to play football, but you think you can wrestle.
Right now, buddy.
No, come on. Let's not get into that.
Hey, I'm not discouraging you, man.
Hey, all right, let's. I'll tell you what. You got a wrestling license? Come on, let's jump in the ring. But you know you got to have a wrestling license.
Just hold it up.
You got a wrestling license?
I'll come right here, buddy. I'll throw it out right here in front of your eyes. I'll
no.
turn you in and I'll wrestle you right now.
You ain't got nothing but an application there, son.
Wait a minute. I do not want any confrontation on the thing, and we've got to get on with it, Mike.
Now, Mike, really, your knees, son, they're too fragile for
Hey,
football.
Don't worry about my knees,
So,
all right?
Your knees can get hurt in wrestling too, so just you know, hobble on off somewhere and forget about wrestling. Really, just forget about wrestling. Now either get him out of here, it won't be no match today.
Mike, let me ask you if you would, just, I hate to ask you to do this, but come back and maybe in the next match or something like that, okay?
Well,
I just don't want any confrontation. Okay. Hey, come on, Lawler. Now knock that stuff off. Give me a pot thing. Hey, come on. Can we get somebody in here to help him?
Your knees can get hurt in wrestling too, brother.
Yeah, you have to hit him with
Get a camera on the board.
Come on, Lawler. Can we get somebody in here that can help him?
What do you
now,
think
come on
about
now.
that big shot wrestler now, huh? How's your knee, son? Drag that hunk of meat on out of here.
That's another lousy thing you pull off. That kind of stuff. Yeah, that's funny. Ain't that funny? That is really hilarious.
Now this program is called wrestling, son. Get some wrestlers out here.
Why don't you get up there and leave the chair on the floor? Baby.
This match will be a one-fall, 10-minute time limit event. One fall only, 10 minutes the overall time limit. Introducing, first of all, from Portland, Oregon, 228 pounds, Don Anderson. Going against him in this match from Memphis, Tennessee,
the world's heavyweight champion.
229 pounds, Jerry Lawler. This match, one fall, 10-minute time limit. Referee Jerry Calhoun.
Marvelous champion. I will tell you that for a flat fact. You ready
This
for
must
it?
have been before he started being dubbed the
Lawler
king,
going
right?
against Don Anderson.
Is he not calling him the king at this point?
I mean, it's just
No,
stuff
he just
like
called him
that
Jerry Lawler.
that there is no way in the world that you can like the guy. He
I guess
pulls
so.
stuff off like that. Davey, how about you? Take it?
All right, let's see what
You
Don
threw his
Anderson
heart
can do
on
with it
his
here.
trunk.
Don Anderson.
That gets heat back in.
Hey,
Don
he
Anderson
unloads on him. Crowd
was a
loves
pretty
it.
good worker, Chris, but no
Yeah.
personality.
Yeah, no charisma whatsoever. None, but he could work. But Lawler,
Lawler with a
I've
head
seen it
scissors
on the
on
chat.
Don Anderson now.
the power of a heel Lawler
Anderson
promo.
pops right out of it on his feet.
That's awesome. I mean, that is true. I mean, to me, he's the greatest heel ever.
Want to say hello to
Stalking
Dr. Robinson,
Jerry
who was
Lawler.
with us last week. He said this is pre-king. I want to say hello to everybody watching the program today. A history of Memphis television wrestling. We'll go over a little
Lawler
bit
on the
about
mat.
it in just a few minutes.
Don Anderson.
Michael, I'd like
Comes down
for
with a
you
knee
to
right against the
briefly
shoulder.
talk about how Channel 13 studio and the setup a little more low budget as it was when we moved in March of '77 to Channel 5. Do you agree with that?
What a move he put out of there.
Yes, I do, but I also
backs into
know
a corner.
in watching television wrestling in the late 60s and throughout the mid 70s, there wasn't a lot of bells and whistles to the studio. It was basically set up a ring, set up a desk, and have a wrestling
Anderson
show.
slowly
I mean,
going
that's
into
the way it
corner
was
after.
here. The Channel 8, Channel 2
You
in
better be
Nashville was the
cautious with a
same
guy
way.
like Lawler.
Channel 12 in Chattanooga actually had a King of Sport backdrop to it, but a lot of the wrestling in the buildings of the television
Lawler
stations
putting the heat
just
on
was
the
a
left
ring
arm now.
and a
Really
desk
working
and a
on the
microphone,
shoulder.
and let's go to town.
Do you
Don
remember
Anderson.
Don Anderson?
One knee
I
on the
do.
mat.
I do. And this is again when Nick and Roy were booking the territory, and Jerry, I think, was Jarrett was booking at this point, but he wrestled on the
Past the 2-minute
Birmingham, Chattanooga, Nashville side of the territory as well.
Anderson back
What
on
did
his
you
feet now.
think
Jerry
about
Lawler
missing the
maintains a
camera
hold,
shot?
but Anderson
I think
drops
they
him to
missed
the
the
mat.
camera shot of the chair shot, but the way Lance sold it, put it over more than if they'd ever got the shot. Do you agree?
Lawler cleans
Absolutely.
his
In
tights
fact, I was
closed.
going to make that comment that I thought the whole key
Don
to
Anderson and the
that whole
crowd,
little
of course, deny it. The
interaction was
Jerry
Lance
Calhoun.
Russell putting it over
Back in
because
the
Mike
corner.
Stark
Lawler.
wasn't very good on the mic.
Don
Lawler
Anderson
was
has it
totally
there.
good on the mic,
Drag
and Lance, in his
across the ring.
normal way of
Bounces
putting things
Lawler
over,
into the other corner.
made it believable.
Chris, we have, I think Richard, maybe somebody else asked the question on who Mike Stark played football. for. And as far as you know, tell the football background of Mike Stark and what he ended up doing later.
He played for the Memphis Tigers. Then I think he played for the World Football League team.
Lawler with
Memphis
Don Anderson now
Grizzlies.
back in the corner. He's choking him.
If my memory serves me,
Referee
signed Zonka.
Was that the Grizzlies or the Showboats?
No, that was Showboats was USFL.
Okay.
The original Memphis Grizzlies was WFL.
Right fist.
They signed Zonka, Kick, and Warfield from the Dolphins.
He pops Anderson,
They
knocked
played
him
one
right through the
season, and
ropes.
I'm pretty confident
Down onto
Mike
the
Stark
floor.
played for them.
Let's watch this angle here coming up.
Lawler again with a fist. And again. Don Anderson rolls back into the ring. Look out, Mike Stark from outside. Look out, a Coke bottle. He just busted it over Lawler's head. Stark hit my Lawler with a chair before this match started. He banged his knee with a chair. And Stark comes in here with a soft drink.
Tony, yes, Mike Stark did humongous in the early days of the humongous deal. And he was also the strength and conditioning coach of the Tigers, Chris.
Yeah.
The match has been stopped.
I was going there
referee.
next. I knew that's what
Just
he did
short
after
of 4
football.
minutes.
Because I looked him up
Lawler
one time.
cut by that bottle.
I didn't. This is something I just noticed, Randy. So when I was a kid, Bill Mack was the referee. Then Tommy Marlin was son. That's Calhoun.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize Calhoun ever worked for them at Channel 13. I don't remember that.
3:58, the time the referee
Yeah.
stopped it.
Okay. Well, we got to do some repair work in here. I'm
And
sorry.
Sam wasn't with Lawler here.
We got out of hand on it.
So
we're going to
Sam
take time out.
must have passed away. This must have been after July of '76.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Sam, this was the year Sam died.
Is it, Michael, I'm sure it's not amazing to you, but it drew almost 9,000 people. That's great.
It's not. I mean, to me, that's typical. That's the format. That's the process, if you would, of Jerry Jarrett and the way they booked, and the masterpiece of how brilliant it is, because it's anybody and everybody would believe that. They missed the chair shot. They missed Lawler getting juice. He gets juice from the bottle, and they never showed it. Lance mentioned it. But, the two biggest things that would make people go, wow, they didn't even show on TV, but they told about it. Interesting.
Right. Later on, we'd have the booker, whether it was Jerry Jarrett or me or whoever, upstairs in the control room, and we could direct them without smarting them up. That's the thing. They weren't, all you people watching this show that's smart, or at least you think you're smart, back then, nobody do for sure, not even the people in that TV station. That's so important. Before I go with my next history lesson, Chris, do you have anything to respond to what we're discussing in the last couple of minutes?
Well, I don't think it's any shock it drew 2,000 more people, because people came to see Lawler get his butt kicked, because he's such a good talker, and people will get so pissed at him just listening to him talk every Saturday. I always liked him, but like when I go to school at Nettleton Middle School, they all hated him. So people went to see him get his butt beat. That's what they wanted to see. They wanted to see the big guy beat him up. And, he was always going to outsmart him.
You were a disillusioned kid, just like you're probably a disillusioned saying, because the message we were trying to portray, or they were trying, I was a kid too, to portray was that Lawler was a bad guy, Lawler was evil, Lawler was no good, and it wasn't cool to cheer him. So you were in the great minority. Dr. Robinson is in the house. This is his era of time. Rusty, I'm wearing your T-shirt, the Good Doctor Podcast T-shirt, and that's looking styling and profiling with the Good Doc on my chest, Michael. Doesn't it look good, man? Doesn't it look good, Michael?
I love it. I love the colors on that. That's a real, whoever did that logo did a great job. Is that something Lawler drew just for the, I don't think so, but is it something, it looks like something it could be.
Maybe the doc can tell us who designed it. Maybe his wife Beth. Maybe he did. Maybe he paid a graphic artist to do it, but he did a great job. Now, what we're going to do now, and we're going to come in and out of this, we have more great video coming. We have a picture segment that's just out of this world. We got Tojo Yamamoto and Jackie Fargo against Al Green and Phil Hickerson. This is a show, hopefully nobody's forgot about the first 34 minutes we've done, and I certainly think this will be a memorable show with a lot of information. I'm going to read from a website, a history of Memphis wrestling, that Adam is going to try to back me up by putting some of it on it, not all the copies on it, but hopefully he can put on there, but some of the information you may not know. The successful promotion is talks about TV wrestling, paragraph 1. I will go right to the meat of the matter. Second paragraph, local TV wrestling in Memphis has a lineage dating back to 1949. WMC TV was the original host station for the show. From a time the final match of show from the Memphis Ellis Auditorium was shown on Monday Nights Live. Charlie Sullivan was the host. The show with Sullivan hosting would later move to Saturdays and originate from the Goodwin Institute, home of WMC TV at the time. WMC TV moved to a new facility, 1960 Union in Memphis, Tennessee, in February of 1959. Then Memphis promoter Buddy Fuller, the son of Roy Welch, taped WMC TV sports personality and eventual Memphis broadcast legend Big Jack Eaton to serve as a host. The program aired Saturday afternoon from 5 to 6 p.m. Two of the early Memphis TV stars at the time was flashy Buddy Monroe and his rival Billy Wicks. Monroe, the cocky heel, and Ricks, the all-around good guy, began a bitter feud during the summer of 1959 as professional wrestling under Fuller's promotion called Fire. WMC studio show, though, only lasted for 7 months. On Halloween 1959, WMC TV, and I did not know this, began airing a wrestling show from Texas. The newspaper ad announcing the move indicated that Memphis TV fans will be able to watch such stars as former NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion Dangerous Danny McShane and Nature Boy Buddy Rogers, one of the business top attractions. The replacing of the WMC show with the Texas show was hardly the end of a TV wrestling show produced in Memphis, though. On November 7th, 1959, WHBQ began a Memphis-based studio show airing Saturdays from 12:30 to 1:30 and taped in the morning. The new host of the show was a man called Lance Russell. Lance Russell had come in prominence in Memphis as a radio announcer of some fame of a broadcasting powerhouse, WHBQ Radio, likely Memphis' top radio station at the time. Prior to coming to Memphis, Russell had worked for WDXI TV in Jackson, Tennessee, and Lance had hosted a wrestling show. For a time, Memphis wrestling received 2 wrestling shows. The Texas show, though, only ran for a few months before WMC dropped it and television wrestling totally. Beginning in 1959, WHBQ TV began a near 18-year run of studio wrestling. During the first half of the 1960s, fans were treated to the antics of such stars as Jackie, Don and Sonny Fargo, Don and Al Green, Lynn Rossi, Carl Von Bronner, Gentleman Saul Weingroff, Tojo Yamamoto, the Scuffling Hillbillies, and Lester and Herb Welch, among others. In 1966, when Randy Hales was 5 years old, Lance was joined by Dave Brown on the show. Brown attended Memphis State University and later joined WHBQ Radio before beginning his career in TV in Memphis. By the time he joined Russell on the show, Brown was an up-and-comer weather forecaster at WHBQ. Together, Russell and Brown fit like a hand in a glove. Just great information. I've got about 25 pages we do not have time for, but we'll go with Chris Ellis to tell me what you learned in that segment today.
I didn't know about all the origins of it. Obviously, I wasn't alive in '59, and in '66 I was born. So all my memories obviously are of Lance and Dave after they had already started the show on Channel 13. And but it's the history and the background and the fact that it really ran continuously. Randy, when did you quit running Power Pro?
2001.
So 01. So from 1959 to 01, 42 years, there was weekly wrestling on TV in Memphis, Tennessee.
That is amazing. What did you learn, Michael St. John, and any comments with the text that we read on Talking Memphis Wrestling?
That was very well written and very well done. I didn't realize that it started so early back off the TV campus, and then it was moved to the Godwin Institute, which I know just a little bit about, where Channel 5, I guess, originated. And then 5 had the franchise. They end up going with another franchise from out of town, Texas. Doesn't last. HBQ puts it on, and it catches crazy fire. But of all the stars that was mentioned in that, none of them were national stars. When you look at it, none of them were national stars. And I think that tells the story of how good Memphis was and how good the Mid-South wrestling was, because it generated great money for everyone involved with local talent.
The only professional sport in Memphis during that era.
Good point.
And that was the absolutely key to it. And I think there is no doubt about that. It's absolute key to it for sure. Now, we've got breaking news that I heard on the Jeff Jarrett podcast this morning. That's a fantastic podcast. Everybody needs to watch and listen to that. I want to go to the very last graphic that I uploaded, Adam, and I want to go with 5118, as Jeff Jarrett and Conrad Thompson was doing his podcast today. They had a run-in from the director of the George Tragus Luthez Wrestling Hall of Fame, the director Gerald Briscoe, the Briscoe brothers, made a live announcement on the live show wee hours of the morning. The newest member of the Tragus Luthez Wrestling Hall of Fame, the 2026 Hall of Fame inductee, joining the Welch clan that has already been announced as being inducted, Double J Jeff Jarrett. So anybody that's around Waterloo, Iowa, Bo James went last year, but this will be July 9th through the 11th in Waterloo, Iowa. It's the 27th edition of this Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame. And Michael, our buddy Jeff Jarrett's going into another Hall of Fame. Big announcement. I don't know if you were aware of, but a big deal.
I absolutely love it, and it couldn't come to a better person, especially at this time. I love it when the Hall of Fames bring people into the Hall of Fames when people can still enjoy it. And the WWE, I think, sort of started that trend. And, it's great to have older wrestlers and perhaps people that have gone before us and passed on to be inducted. And, well, they should be. But Jeff is still a pretty young man in the world of aging, I guess, and wrestling. And to see him go into a Hall of Fame like this at this time in his life, I think that's absolutely fabulous.
And one of the things that Gerald Briscoe said, and by the way, a podcast that Stories with Bradshaw and Briscoe, last 6 or 7 weeks, Michael, I haven't listened to any of it, and I need to. I think you might have even mentioned it on this show a couple of weeks ago. They're talking about the legendary Welch family, which Ron and Robert Fuller are part of, Buddy Fuller, Roy Welch, Herb Welch, Lester Welch, all kinds of Welches, and it's fantastic. Also, it was announced by Gerald Briscoe, and you'll like this, Michael, they are also going to honor Christine Jarrett and Jerry Jarrett along with inducting Jeff into the Hall of Fame.
That's absolutely fabulous. By the way, our good friend of mine, Tony Williams, Tony Richards, I'm sorry, I bought my radio station from Tony Williams. Tony Richards and I worked together with Zimmer Broadcasting in Missouri. He was one of our national program directors, and he has a podcast, and he's the one that did that with Layfield and Briscoe about the Welches, and he sent me a link, and I actually listened to all of them. I did a binge listening to them last Friday through Sunday because he interviewed me last week and has asked me to come on his podcast regarding the old history of, but he was talking about how, and it is amazing that the research he did and what he dug up on amazing of what Roy Welch did for professional wrestling. You know, we talk about Sam Munchnick and we talk about some of the other guys up east and all that. Boy, Roy Welch was a genius when it came to creating wrestling in the South, and he's just now getting credit for it. It was an absolutely fabulous job. By the way, they're doing the payoff on that. They've taped it with Ron Fuller, and I think it's going to air. I think they're dropping it Thursday from the Tony Richards. I forget the name of it. Is it Wrestling with something?
Stories with Briscoe and Bradshaw. By the way, July 9th through 11th is that date. Our buddy Bo James made a note. He says he will be in Waterloo this year, and he was very successful there last year. So certainly I want to say hello to PJ as well. We got deep into history and that last information with Jeff into the Hall of Fame. Good news, and Michael has something else to say.
Just real quick. First of all, I know why Bo got popular at Waterloo. He brought the apple pie moonshine that all the boys shared. I got tipped off on that. I got stooched off on that. But
shame on you, Bo.
Pat Trammell and I have been talking about, and Randy, I don't know if Pat has approached you about this. We were talking, at one time of doing a live one of these shows someday, somewhere. That would be a perfect time and a perfect place to do it, especially now with Jeff going in and the Welches being honored. I would love to and would make time to go to Waterloo and do a show with you, Randy, if you were available, and Pat and Coach and whoever else. I think it would be a fabulous opportunity to help our listeners understand the background and history of what we talk about each and every week.
We have plenty of time until July to talk about it and see what we can work out as we are teaching a history lesson. So, two things, Chris. First of all, the deal with Jeff Jarrett going into the Tragus Thez Hall of Fame, and of course the other news is we gave that extended timeline of TV5 and Channel 13 Wrestling, Studio Wrestling in Memphis. Your thoughts on the direction we have this show going today?
Well, I think it's great getting people the background and history and understanding of the greatest phenomenon in wrestling, in my opinion, in the history, because of where I was fortunate enough to grow up. My take on Jeff Jarrett is it's well-deserved. He served in every role in this business, grew up in the business. His grandfather's in the business, but it also makes me feel old because Jeff and I are about the same age. He debuted 40 years ago, 1986, 40 years ago. I can still see Buddy beating the hell out of him as a referee. I can see it right now. I can almost quote the interviews promote that. And
Yeah.
that's 40 years. I mean, that's phenomenal. And he can still work and still perform at a high level.
All right. And the history of Memphis wrestling on television before your time, were you fascinated by that?
Oh yeah, I said earlier, I didn't realize it started in '59 and it ran consecutively for 40 something years. It had I hate the word cult, but it had a cult following. Like it's amazing. And then like Michael said about the Welches, I mean, he's the godfather of Southern wrestling. No question. Like he impacted from Memphis to the Gulf Coast, Florida, the East Coast. He had a huge handprint over all that.
We're going to run through these pictures. We have more video we want to get to. This is a loaded show, and Michael has it out at 8:30 today. And Michael, we're in gear to do that. We may have some leftover content to get you out of here, but we'll let you go on the hot date. I know you, a hot date with your wife. You got planned a little later on. We'll get right into these pictures. The first one that I uploaded, currently stuff, was 5100, and here to discover who this is from probably mid to late 70s. Here's Michael St. John to give you captions on this picture.
Left to right, Tommy Marlin, Superstar Bill Dundee, and Jeff Jarrett. And it looks like it was taken maybe in a parking lot at a gas station after a show or before a show.
I don't remember Thomas Marlin ever wearing glasses. Do you?
Yes, absolutely. When he was the tax assessor, tax collector from Sumner County, Tommy always wore glasses.
Real quick thoughts of that picture, Chris.
Yeah, I don't remember Tommy Martin other than being special referee some. And then I guess Dundee was in the office. That's why he's traveling with Jerry.
Yes. Yes. Or he was going to be in the office and he was riding with Jarrett to get in his ear, one or the other. He was either already in the office or was fixing to be, for sure. Don't know the time frame. The next picture that we're going to take a look at is Merry Christmas, and we might have shown this before, and the NWA means the world's greatest wrestling stars. And to give you a quick rundown on these fellers that's in this picture is Michael St. John quickly.
I think this was something that the Goulises, that George and Nick came up with. But look at these stars I'm talking about. This is a history lesson on Southern wrestling with Dundee and Jarrett and Fargo and Tommy Gilbert. There's George Goulis, the Bounty Hunters, Roughhouse Fargo, Sonny Fargo, of course, Mitsu Awakawa, who was one of Tojo's partners at one time, King, Jerry Lawler, Pistol Pez, Watley. A lot's been coming out on him lately. Eddie Marlin, Don and Al Green, Don Anderson, manager Jimmy Kent, Joey Rossi, Tojo, Phil Hickerson, Dennis Condrey. What a tag team that was. Tommy Rich, David Schultz, Dr. Ken Ramey, and the interns. And I think this was a poster that was sold at one of the gimmick tables back in the day. Or was it not, Randy?
Absolutely. I think it was too. Richard, I would agree that the Welch family was the first family of wrestling, especially in that era. As we look at this, and I think this is a Nick Goulis hype job. This next graphic we have, and I think it might be a little BS going on, fed to the thing, and I just don't know. Michael, you read the article and see if you think this is a possible or this is not possible as Michael reads this article.
Well, first of all, I know Nick had a very, very close friend that was also Greek, that also went to church with Nick, that was a sports writer with the Nashville Tennessean and the Nashville Banner. And they were part of the Siegenthaler family back then, and they were both run out of the same press room, if you would. And so the headline, over 200,000 watched wrestling. Professional wrestling continues to be one of the city's best attractions. They're talking about Nashville. Over 200,000 paid to see the weekly cards promoted by Nick Goulis and Roy Welch at the Fairgrounds Coliseum. NWA heavyweight belt holder Dory Funk Jr. made 2 appearances here. Lynn Rossi reigns as the NWA Southern Junior heavyweight belt holder and shares the NWA World Tag titles with Bob Armstrong. Southern tag titleists are Johnny Long and Dennis Hall. I'm going to date this about 1972, maybe 73. But that was straight out of the press, straight out, and I'm going to say that was out of the Banner or the Tennessean, if not running in the Banner as well.
Do you think it's BS? Because let me say this. People have told me that building was gone before I was involved. But I think the new sports arena held more people, the building we were in later. That particular building, if I'm thinking a sellout would be around 1,500 people. I'm thinking of that 78,000 people. There's no way they did 200,000 people. No way. I don't think. I think it's just hype. Do you agree or disagree?
Well, first of all, the Fairgrounds Coliseum burned and was replaced, or they moved across literally across the road there in the fairgrounds to the women's building. And the women's building was just an exhibition hall with a low roof. And it sat maybe 500 on a good night, 600 maybe when that period of time. So if this is before the Fairgrounds Coliseum burned, the Coliseum held about, I want to say about 1,000 people with standing room. You could probably get another 200 in there if the fire marshal let you. But if you took 52 weeks a year and you divide 52 into 100,000 or 200,000, what's that number? Because you would have to be averaging that number a week to hit 200,000. Now, the question I have is, now it referred to the Nashville Fairgrounds Arena. I'm wondering if it got padded because of TV numbers. I don't know. I find that number to be strikingly out of the realm of possibility.
I do too, no doubt about it. We'll look at another picture now, the very next picture, and this is a cool picture. This is a fabulous one, Jackie Fargo and Corsica Joe. I think this is in Louisville in 1995. Next picture, 2 good dudes. 2 next pictures here. This is the late Tracy Smothers and the Road Dogg, Jesse James Armstrong, and that did money with the Smoky Mountain USWA. Dude, a controversial thing that we did not get this information on Jonesboro News. I think they covered it in the Memphis paper. The next picture here was in 1976. The 2 top baby faces in the territory, Bill Dundee and Tommy Rich. Bill looks sad and mad. Tommy Rich looks shocked in the left picture and tickled to death in the other picture. He looks a little wildfire. Tommy Rich. And that's a little Tommy Rich. What happened was, after town, Bill and Tommy had been drinking. They were playing around, trying to impress some girls. They shot a gun up in the air at a hotel. The police was called and they were arrested. We'll get to that in just a second. Michael, talking about that, the building we were talking about in Nashville, one of our listeners asking, wasn't that on Woodland Avenue? I have no idea.
No, the Fairgrounds Arena was at the Nashville Fairgrounds. And that is the exit. Let me think of the exit. It's the exit I take to go over to Vanderbilt when I have to take Joshua to his appointments. It was Wedgwood Avenue, not
Wedgwood, yes.
Wedgwood Avenue. Woodland is across the river on the east side of Nashville.
Now, Bo's always going to contradict the story that I'm trying to put out here. The original Fairgrounds Coliseum that burned held over 4,000. They'd have to do a little over 3,800 a week to do 200,000. So the original fairgrounds before it burned, do you buy it fitted 4,000 people?
You know, I was only in that building one time because when I started with Nick, he had already, the building had burned. I think, I'm trying to think, I'd have to get some numbers years wise when the building, when the Fairgrounds Arena burned, And when that article came out in the paper to try to justify that, it just seems like, but even that, I don't think Nashville wrestling was ever hot enough to draw 3,800 people a week on a weekly basis. Because it went up and down like a roller coaster, just like Memphis and Chattanooga and Louisville and Birmingham and every other town.
So back to the story of Rich and Dundee being arrested, Chris. Thoughts?
I never heard it, never knew about it, never heard it. Living as close as I did, and they did a good job of keeping it out of the news. Apparently, the one thing that is comical to me, that's the only time in my life that I ever thought Jamie looked like Bill.
Let's put that graphic up there again.
That expression on Bill's face looks like Jamie, like Jamie's wild-eyed, kind of deal.
He's right. You're right, Coach.
Yeah, that's the only time I ever thought Jamie looked like Bill. Speaking of Jamie, he had a car accident. I saw him on the internet. He rolled a pickup truck, just as a sidebar.
But apparently he's okay.
Yeah.
He walked away from it.
Yes, he did. But that's the only time I've ever thought he looked like he was in that picture.
I'm a fan of Jamie's. I'm sorry. He grew up with my son. They played together. We lived a block away from him on Bonita Parkway in Hendersonville, and I'm still fine. I know he's gone through the demons and all that stuff, but I'm still a fan of Jamie. I hope he's okay. Is he still clean? Because the last time I saw him, he was. So
I haven't seen him since the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame. He certainly was that night.
It's the last time I saw him.
100%.
I think he still is. I think it was just a car accident like anybody would have.
That anybody could have. Next pictures, please. It's 5063, I think, after the Rich Dundee graphic. Just whatever picture after the Rich Dundee graphic. We talked about these guys last week. This is George Two-Ton Harris, Frank Morrell, and Charlie Fulton. These are the Mighty Yankees, Chris.
Yeah, you can tell that's Frank. It's just crazy. I looked at that, that's Frank Morrell right there. I didn't realize that was Charlie Fulton. Had no idea, and I don't recall Two-Ton Harris.
And we showed some pictures of them last week too, I believe, Michael.
Yes, we did. And, the masked wrestling tag teams in the Mid-South, we probably should do a show about this someday, because you look back on them, we had the Masked Medics, we had the Infernos, we had the Mighty Yankees, we had Mephisto and Dante. I'm sure I'm missing some.
Interns.
There's some incredible masked athletes, masked wrestling tag teams that came right here out of Memphis Wrestling and out of the Mid-South.
Don and Roger Smith and Don Bass were 4 different teams, and I always thought they were great.
The Assassins,
all under mask.
The Assassins.
My team, Fire and Flame, absolutely. Next picture, real quick, is it is not what I have. Yes, I do have it here. This is a drawing by Jerry the King Lawler, Jackie Fargo, Don Green, Herb Welch, and Lynn Rossi. Very interesting picture, and it might not be. Let's see, who is this? This is Fargo, Don Green, Herb Welch, and Al Green. Do you buy that, Michael, on who that is in the picture? That's how it was captured.
Yeah, I think that's exactly. I agree with who that is. But I tell you, if they were in a wrestling match, I'd give anything to watch a movie or a film about that. You talk about 4 that could go. Good God, if these guys could mentor the wrestlers today, where would this wrestling world be today? My gosh, these were great guys.
Next picture, please. And this is Steve Kovacs and the very popular Rick Gibson. Stephen Little Bear is what Steve Kovac wrestled as in Bill Watts' territory. And Adam said that didn't look like a Lawler drawing to him. And you can't believe everything you see on the internet, but that's how it's libeled. And you certainly might be right about that, Adam, because I was kind of thinking the same thing. Next picture here.
Before we move off that picture, just real quick, Sandor and Steve Kovacs were a tag team at one time when they came into the territory. I think Sandor Kovacs died in an automobile accident or tragedy, and then Steve Kovacs, like you said, went on to Bill Watts.
Next picture. The story I always heard is Jack Donovan was wrestling Tojo in Louisville, Kentucky, and he didn't cooperate with the finish and was stiff with Tojo and different things. Well, Jerry Jarrett told Tojo as they were going to do interviews in the Nashville TV station, which station it was, maybe two, maybe eight, I'm not sure, Michael, you might elaborate in a minute. But so they set it up. So what happened was Tojo went into a dressing room that Jack Donovan was in by himself and had his wooden shoe. Fargo and Jarrett went in with him because Jarrett told Tojo that the boys can't think that they can come in here and run over the top guys in this territory. And they about killed Jack Donovan. A famous story for sure. Chris, have you ever heard this story?
I have not. I'm not even familiar with Jack Donovan, so that's interesting to hear that. I'd never heard that before.
Certainly, 100%. I heard it in the car many, many times. Michael, are you familiar?
Same place, heard it in the car, and apparently every now and then there had to be a little vigilante justice to get guys right and get their heads right. And this was a situation where they had to discipline one of their guys, one of their players, and I heard that. I heard they beat the living hell out of him.
They killed him. I mean, blacked his eyes, messed up his face, and it was absolutely crazy. Moving on.
RH, that's one of those deals that people don't get today. You and Michael were on the inside, so y'all knew about it. I was a fan back in those days. We didn't know. And I want to say on the record, I've been friends with Randy Hales for 40 years, and he's until the last how many ever years I started doing this show, he never told me anything, ever. I'm trying to emphasize to the fans listening. Randy never smartened me up. He never gave me anything, and I've known him almost my entire life. So,
until Vince McMahon smartened up the world and everybody followed suit, and now great wrestling podcasts all over the place. That's right. Inside is inside, can be more inside than this show is. Sometimes I'm a little uncomfortable when we get too inside. Really, and Michael, I'm sure, agrees with me, but it is what it is. I guess it's one of those things, Michael, we decided as we're doing this and trying to do the best product ever, if we work our fans who smarten up a million times a week, we lose our credibility.
Oh, absolutely. And Pandora, like you said, to escape a jail sentence for steroids, Vince opened Pandora's box because it was Umberto, as they say in Italian, the mafia. Umberto, it was a secret. It was kept a secret. And when I first started hearing all the stuff that was coming out, who was the wrestler before that went on the air with Stossel, I believe, and showed them how they juiced and all that stuff?
Mansfield.
Remember that, Randy?
Eddie Mansfield.
Yeah. And that to me was, oh my God, they're going to kill this guy. But I'm like you, Randy. There are times even we talk about stuff on this show that I cringe because Nick Goulas, the day he smartened me, I started doing commentary for Nick before I was smart. I knew it, but nobody had ever told me. And I got called into his office, and the only two times I ever got called in, I've told the other story once, but the first time I got called in, he shut the door, it's me and him, and he looked at me over the table, and he's over his desk, and he said, I'm going to tell you something, and if you tell anybody, including your wife, your mom, nobody knows this. This is between you and me. And if I hear that you've told somebody, I'll kill you. And I've never been threatened with death before, but Nick, that threatened me. And he told me about, okay, this is what we do. This is how we make money. Keep your mouth shut. Never said a word until Pandora came out of the box.
Next picture, Adam, if you would. And this is a quick picture as we continue. We get off of that picture of Jack Donovan and go with the very next picture here. This is the fabulous Jackie Fargo with the umbrella getting revenge on Sir Steve Clemens. We go with the next picture right now. This is an action shot of Paul Orndorff and Jerry the King Lawler. The next picture is the original video cameraman for this territory, Mike Shields, who was very good, but he's no Randy West. Mike Shields, the late Mike Shields, and the huge Andre the Giant. I believe Andre Michael is bigger than Mike Shields.
That's an understatement. Mike Shields was good, and he did a lot of things creatively. But like you said, Randy West just built on it and became the greatest of all time, in my opinion.
Took it to another area. Next picture, a great quote Michael's going to read that Jackie Fargo said all the time. Here's Michael St. John on Talking Memphis Wrestling.
I was meaner than a damn rattlesnake and tougher than a $2 steak, Pally.
Classic. Do it again. Do it again.
I was meaner than a damn rattlesnake and tougher than a $2 steak, Pally. Hey, that's in Nick's office, by the way. I recognize those photos.
That is absolutely cool. The next picture is 5073, and this is Jackie Fargo when he wanted to be a country music star, had a nightclub with country music star Eddie Bond. Did you know much about Eddie Bond, Michael? That's Jackie Fargo and Eddie Bond.
Well, Eddie Bond, it wasn't his nightclub in West Memphis.
I think so.
Yeah, and he owned a radio. He owned KWAM in West Memphis, I think, or was part owner then back then. That's really the only thing I know about him. Fargo looks great though in that jacket. Can you imagine him wearing that as ring attire? I could.
Oh, I could too. Next picture. This is Jerry Lawler riding a horse to the ring and referee Jerry Calhoun. Next picture described by Michael St. John. Who is this feller with the microphone?
That's Haku, but who's that skinny guy with all the hair and holding the microphone? That is a shot from the Nashville TV when we were shooting Nashville TV on Wednesday night. And Prince Tonga, what a great young man he was at the time. Just came into our area. One of the first Samoans that came in here. In fact, I think Alpha and Sika told Nick about him, and they brought him into the territory.
Next picture. Luthez, Harley Race, two great NWA World Champion. Next picture is an action shot of Superstar Bill Dundee and Phil Hickerson. Next picture, an action shot of the fabulous Jackie Fargo and one of the interns. And then a tag team shot is by 5084 of Jerry Jarrett, and Jerry Jarrett is with Jackie Fargo. Next picture, and we are going to let Michael discuss who this next picture is. Go ahead.
This was in the studios of Channel 2 in Nashville. And that's Lynn Rossi when he was doing commentating after his car accident. He was booking for Nick and doing commentating. And, of course, that's the legendary Tojo Yamamoto. Just as a footnote on one of the pictures we saw with Fargo stomping the intern, the referee in the background was Ricky Morton's dad, Paul Morton, also known as the Bald Eagle.
All right. If Michael can get back, or if Adam could get back to that picture, and I don't know if you can or not, but if you could give to that action picture again, and there it is. That, you're exactly right. That is Paul Morton. It's time to do a video right now, folks. This is in the 70s, 75 and 76. This is an interesting match between Big Phil Hickerson and Bigger Al Green. It's an 8-minute, 39-second video with Lance Russell doing the commentary, with Tojo Yamamoto and the fabulous Jackie Fargo, as we watch now on Talking Memphis Wrestling on a Tuesday night.
For a tag match pitting the big team of Big Al Green at 255 and his partner at 264, Phil Hickerson, in there against the combined efforts of Jackie Fargo in the ring with Hickerson right now, and his partner, the Honorable Imperial Japanese wrestler Tojo Yamamoto.
They said he was 264. I want to weigh on those scales.
Jackie Fargo in with Hickerson now.
Me too.
By the way, Michael, that's Phil Hickerson.
Manager Sam Bass.
That looked like he ride too high to me.
Tony Money says, I remember Eddie Bond, he had a TV show on Memphis TV or something. So thank you, Tony, for contributing to this show. And thank you so much. We've had Frank Steven, we've had so many people giving great feedback on this show today. And what makes this show, and Michael will agree with me, our audience.
Hickerson hammers Jackie into the ropes, and there
That
it
is the Fargo
Maybe I
strut.
got a crazy question. But all I've ever heard Tojo called is Tojo Yamamoto.
Drop kick, did Jackie.
Did he change his name legally to Tojo? Like when y'all wrote his checks, did it go to Tojo Yamamoto?
I don't remember. I really don't.
The reason I said that, I know people have different names that they performed under, but I've never known him to be anything but that.
I think his first name was Harold, wasn't it? Wasn't it Harold Wannabe or something like that?
Wanabe. Harold Wanabe. Can I make a comment about that? Because I'm very familiar with that. In Tennessee, this dates way back because of country music and country music stars. There is a thing in Tennessee where you can register your name that you go by in media or whatever, when in business, as a legal alias. And you can receive checks as long as you put your Social Security number on your bank account and file it with the federal, with the IRS. As a legal alias, you can have your name. I mean, they trademark your name basically, and it's legal. And you can get tickets written with a copyright to a ticket. They can write it as Michael St. John, whatever, or Tojo Yamamoto, or whatever. Tennessee is one of the few states back in the 80s that allowed that, but it is a registered trademark name that you can do legal business as in the state of Tennessee. Or in any state, but you can register it in Tennessee.
Very interesting match.
It'll be a miracle if he does.
Bill Mack is the referee, Chris, I think.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's Bill Mack. That's why I didn't realize Calhoun worked for him before the move.
Joe slipped through the ropes. Tapped Al on the back. Al thought he had gotten a 3 count on Fargo.
Had Don quit wrestling here, that's why Phil's wrestling with Al.
And by that time, Tojo
I think he was still wrestling in other territories, and he would be back.
Now, Don had a car accident also. Don Green had a car accident also in the 70s, and I think that sort of stymied his career.
Tojo downs him with a chop.
People are into Tojo's comeback, Michael.
Watching this. Go ahead, Coach.
So Tojo come in and start chopping. He could just do that little, and just the fans would just go nuts.
Tojo showboating a little bit, Michael.
Indeed. You know, watching what I watched in the last week and watching this is so much more. Listen to the fans. They are with every move. And it's not 600 flying trapeze artists doing 600 moves in a 22-second period. They're milking it. They're letting it sink in. They're letting it mature. I mean, this is classic wrestling. This is wrestling. What we got today, it may say wrestling on the marquee, but it ain't that in the ring, in my opinion.
James has a question that says, didn't Rick Morton have a younger brother named Todd? He was never billed as a younger brother, like a nephew or something. That young man's name was Todd Ratton, and no, he wasn't relative at all with Rick Morton. That was the work, people. The only Michael Adam is pointing out, the crowd, this building was not mic'd. You hear the crowd through Lance Russell's microphone.
And listen to it. It's not mic'd except coming through a microphone like you or I are talking with right now.
Right. And our microphones are probably better than what they had back in the day.
I bet he had that one that you used. I bet he's using that microphone that you got in your hand, Randy.
That's what I was about to ask. Is Lance using that microphone?
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
Tojo being held in a corner.
That's quite a thing to have, Randy. for wrestling history.
Absolutely.
What a thing to have.
Tojo, it didn't happen a lot. Have you noticed the comedy that Tojo's been doing in the match?
He's been more comical normally, and that's a Fargo thing.
Al Green, and Phil was great too, but Al was so believable. I hated him.
Big Al working on Jackie now, brings him over where Sam.
Now, as I understand it, Don and Al Green were not blood brothers, correct?
Correct. Sam Bass managing.
While the referee is having a discussion about staying out of the ring with Tojo, Al runs Jackie right smack dab into that chair.
Jim, we have a listener saying, wondering Paul Morton is a historic ref, but sometimes in the past did his tattoos play a role in a more conservative society? And I really don't have an answer to that, Michael. Fargo had a tattoo.
Tattoos back in the day were a mark of tough guys, especially sailors. And now it's just a social marking. But back then, a tattoo had a meaning behind it. If these guys had them, there was a story behind them.
The people's really with the heat. We had the entertaining part of the match and the ha-ha part of the match. And now Tojo tries to come in. And Fargo was a fantastic styler. See his long hair flying? He was just fantastic. One of the best, Michael.
I don't think anybody, in my opinion, in that era could sell better than Fargo. I thought Fargo could sell the best of anybody, and he's getting juice. And then you see, the belief is the fact that Hickerson and Green have been beating him up on the head, and so he's busted open. But I'm telling you, now look at Tojo coming for the save. Referee takes him out so that the boys can do more damage. I'm telling you, this is classic pro wrestling. What a great match.
My favorite thing is the response of the people. They go for the second time. We saw it a little earlier. Sam holds up the chair. So you know what's eventually going to happen, Michael?
And look at Fargo. Fargo taking the beating of a lifetime, and he'll make a comeback. Well, I hope he will. Did we lose it?
Yeah, I think we did, and we might not have the finish of that match. It was won by Tojo Yamamoto, and it was won by Jackie Fargo, and that's what I get for not previewing that. But we got the picture. That was great stuff, Chris.
Awesome. That's an awesome match. That's why I was engaged in watching the match, because I don't recall that match. So I was invested in watching the match and the performance, because I'm a big Phil Hickerson fan. I always have been since 1976. I've been a Hickerson fan. I loved him. And, I always had to tease Michael, because that's my first memory of Michael. But I'm anything, and I love Don Green. I like Don Green, and so and Condrey and that whole deal. So I was really engaged in the match. And like I said, Tojo, I'm a little guy, and Tojo was small. So when I was a kid, we all loved Tojo. Even though I liked the heels, we all loved Tojo because he was small. And he'd come in there and start kicking everybody's butt, and all he was doing was chopping. He did volumes by doing a little.
Right.
Like Michael said, he didn't do triple somersaults and all that, but he got it done. He got the message across by what he did.
Next picture that we'll look at, we'll pop that up there real quick, is 5087. This is after the Tojo Rossi picture, 5087, and Adam looks for that. That's my friend Bullet Bob Armstrong. Next picture we'll take a look at, and we talked about that earlier, and be sure to check out Stories with Briscoe and Bradshaw, 6-part series on the history of the Welch clan. Also Ron Fuller's studcast that he does is out there and great thing. And here's my man Michael St. John to say who's who.
Now, I believe, and I've seen this picture only once before, Herb Lester and Roy Welch, correct?
Yes.
Okay, left to right, Herb, Lester, Roy. Herb trained wrestlers. Roy was the oldest brother, and Herb was, and after hearing those podcasts, I've got to take a little diversion here and say this. To me, the Welch family were the Von Erichs without the tragedy. When you look at it, I mean, what kind of great wrestling talent was produced within that family? Likewise in the Von Erich family, but with tragedy and drugs involved. With the Welches, there wasn't nothing but toughness and wrestling involved, and I just found that as an odd but a comparison that needs to be made out.
So is Herb the one that trained Dr. D at Dyersburg?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because I've heard Dr. D tell that story.
So we have James asking a question. When did Dennis Condrey start teaming with Phil Hickerson? And I would guess 70, toward the end of 76 and certainly into 1977. We'll look at the next picture real quick, 5089. And that's a picture, a fairly recent picture, Rock and Roll Express member Rick Morton, followed by 5090. 5090 is the fabulous one, Jackie Fargo. And what building is that, Michael?
That's interesting. I think that is the Fairgrounds Arena in Nashville. No, nope. I think that's the women's building in Nashville, because I remember those whatever they call them, the blow in the wind that they had, because they had, when they didn't have wrestling in the women's building, it was an exhibition hall that they did the flea market in. They had the flower show, that kind of thing. And so that was above the wrestling ring. So I'm pretty sure that's the women's building at the fairgrounds.
Those streamers there, and as Adam says, that's a low roof building, And then we'll look at 5091, and this month of January would be Brian Christopher's. Rest in peace, Brian. His birthday, it's shown here with his dad, Jerry Lawler. Michael, Brian Christopher.
We lost him too young. He had fought some tough times in his life. I think he had as much charisma as a wrestler could be endowed with. Jerry, I think, has said before privately that, he let Brian blaze his own trail, which a dad wants his son to do. I'm the same way. I let my son do his thing. He wanted Brian to build upon his own legacy and not build off of what his dad had built. But then when they're gone, sometimes you have to think again. And, I think Brian Christopher was a great talent that could have even gone bigger and better had he still been with us.
Next picture, Adam. This is another one of the fabulous Jackie Fargo, followed by the next picture. That's a bunch of pictures of the fabulous Jackie Fargo. And that quote, can you say it without the quote we saw a little earlier? Can you say it, Michael?
I think it went like, I'm meaner than a rattlesnake and tougher than a $2 steak. Let's stop real quick. Just let me have this. Look at that wrestling belt that Fargo's got on that black and white picture to the left of the screen there. That, to me, is the epitome of great championship belts. I mean, they got all the bells and whistles on them now, and they weigh 200 pounds, and the guys can't even put them around their waist. But is that not a classic championship wrestling belt?
Absolutely, no doubt about it. Let's come back to us, the three shot of your host today of Talking Memphis Wrestling, and Chris and I will do a few more minutes, but Michael St. John.
Keep rolling. This show is too damn good. I'll just get a half an hour less sleep.
Can I jump in here real quick?
Yes.
Going back to BC real quick. I saw a shoot that was posted this week on YouTube that I've never seen. It was BC. I was actually on a couple of shows with him that I worked, so I met him a little bit, was around him. But you can, in this shoot interview, the mannerisms, the responses, the characteristics, you can see the king in him.
No doubt.
It was neat to finally get to see that, and like, man, he's so much like his dad. It was really, and he was such a talent. And I didn't realize he had never been trained. He told that story on there. It was cool. It was neat.
5094 is another one of somebody I really like. This was the athlete all the way, a tough Marine, tough son of a gun, Bob Armstrong. We've done a lot of stuff today about Tojo Yamamoto. He's the next picture. That's Tojo Yamamoto. And then we will come back before I go with the next graphic. I want you to hold at them. It's 1596. Have it on standby. Michael, I am going to educate you on this. Chris does not get education because he got the same education live in person in the time. From the late 50s, early 60s, the American Legion Arena on Washington Street in Jonesboro, Arkansas. By the time Chris and I started going to the matches every Saturday night, the American Legion Arena on Washington, the place was a dump. It had a ring light, a wash tub with one light, and Tommy Rich's rib, he'd call for somebody a hill to backdrop him, and he would go as high as he could to hit the ring light and bust the lights, and all the wasps and bugs would fall on the other wrestlers. That was the ribs of the day. That building didn't have air. It didn't have heat. It was hot as hell and cold as hell. It was a dump. But it was beautiful. It was beautiful. That was my education on professional wrestling. Now, Chris's memories, he can give you some too, probably. And so go ahead, Chris, that old building.
I can smell the cigarettes and the popcorn.
Yes.
And
Still to this day.
You got a hot dog and a Coca-Cola in a Coca-Cola cup, wax paper cup. And the cigarette smoke hung in the air with that one wash tub light. There would normally be but about 3 matches. And I was mesmerized that I was going to be, I wasn't going to miss it. If my papa if something happened, we were going to wrestling every Saturday. It was an amazing experience. I hate that so many young people didn't get to live it, but it sounds so simple, and it was. RH said it. It was a dump, but it was our dump, and it's where the magic happened.
Michael,
happened in the dump.
Michael, do you have any comparison of any buildings?
The first wrestling arena my Uncle John ever took me to was a half a block away from where my papa lived on Walker Street in Huntsville. And it was the National Guard Army on Patton Street in Huntsville, Alabama. And you would hear Nick Goulas and the commentators, Smiling Jack Simpson and Gil Green, talk about the spot shows coming up. And this Friday night, we'll be in Huntsville, Alabama at the National Guard Army on Patton Street. Sailor Moran and 2 top girls on the card. It was magic. And you're right. No air conditioning in the summer, and no heat in the winter. It was cold as hell this time of year. And in the summer, you better just wear a t-shirt and a pair of shorts because you're going to sweat a lot. And I can still remember that cigarette smoke. Everybody smoked back in those days. And that cloud just hanging out as the matches went on. And we wouldn't be at ringside. We'd be in the bleachers. That cloud would get heavier and heavier. And then by the main event, you're watching the matches through a cloud of smoke.
Frank Seaton has the memories. Frank's a Jonesboro guy. Richard says, guys, what arena was best for wrestling? That's personal preference. There'll be people that say the Mid-South Coliseum. There'll be people that says the Louisville Gardens. Chris Ellis and I both say our favorite arena for wrestling was that old dump, without a doubt, because that's where our love for wrestling began. Michael, what do you think the best arena for wrestling?
I can only compare it to where I have done play-by-play for wrestling. And you have to, if you're going to compare apples to apples, you got to compare an arena that's full or almost full to an arena that's almost full or full. My favorite arena to do a wrestling match in our territory, believe it or not, was the Boutwell Auditorium in Birmingham, because they put the ring in the middle. You still had a stage up on at the far end. You had an upper deck. You had the ring in the middle. The fans were close because it wasn't a big. It still is. The building's still there. It's not a huge building. I think it's seated right at 5,000 packed. But people were on, like the upper deck people, you didn't feel like they were over there. You felt like they were right here. So that was my favorite building to do a wrestling show in. I had heard all my life about the Sportatorium in Dallas, and I had the honor to do wrestling with Jerry Jarrett in the ESPN at the Sportatorium. And I got to tell you, the first time I walked into the Sportatorium, I went, this is it? Because what they showed on TV, you never got a camera angle of the wall that was right up against the ring. They shot a TV, they had a hard camera right there. If you're sitting at ringside at the announce table, right across the ring from you is a wall. But you never saw that on TV. You'd see the shots from up top in the crow's nest. You'd see the handheld. You would not see that wall. And the first time, and it was an old theater, so instead of it being a flat floor, the floor was like this. And it had been built in the 30s, and there was so much grease and popcorn butter and whatever else was spilled on the concrete that if anybody spilled a drink, you would slip very easily, slip on the ramps coming down where the folks were seated. That, to me, I was very disappointed. The smell was great, but I was very disappointed in the building itself.
Okay, we will go to 1596 as a building that I describe as a dump. It had to go. The American Legion had made money off of wrestling, and they built a new building that was called the New American Legion Arena. Shortly after that, named after American Legion veteran Arthur Branch, was named the Arthur Branch Auditorium. To this day, it sits still today by the St. Bernard's Hospital that bought the building, the wrestling arena. The St. Bernard's Auditorium now was the Arthur Branch Auditorium, was the American Legion Arena. The first card for wrestling at the new building was 1596. It happened on January the 5th, 1980. And we'll let Chris Ellis read this card because he probably was there.
I was there. 100% I was there. 7 big matches. Let that sink in. But we started at 8, but we were done by 10. I guarantee you. Jerry Bryant was the opener versus Jimmy Hart. Tojo versus Big Red. Then Sonny King versus Rick Morton. And if I remember right, they were a team, and Sonny turned on Rick, and that was led to that. And then, of course, they brought in all the heavy hitters. Handsome Jimmy, who was hot during this time, against Steve Regal, who just recently passed away, I might add. Not Lord Steven Regal, but Mr. Electricity Steve Regal. Ricky and Robert Gibson against the Assassins. It's Kurt Von Hess, and I can't remember who the other one was then. That was who the Assassins were. And then Lawler versus Paul Ellering, who had been brought in when the King had broken his leg. So you had 2 things working here. King hadn't been back long, and then you had a new building, so everybody in town was excited. And Randy, I don't have any idea what the crowd was for this deal.
Ultra sellout, the biggest crowd at the time in the history, because it's a much bigger building.
Right. Well, I knew it was a sellout, but I don't know what the number was. But it was such a nicer building and a bigger building.
Probably 2,000 people.
Yeah, had air conditioning. I mean, it was fantastic.
And heat. This was January.
Yeah, it heat. Yeah, but it had both.
By the way, Lawler was about 2 or 3 weeks away from the broken leg. He was out most of 80. He returned in 81. So, Michael, you kind of lost the grit Chris, do you agree with that? When we changed building to a nicer building,
Yeah,
Pro wrestling went down. We lost atmosphere. We lost atmosphere.
we did. So Michael just described the sportatorium and talked about he was disappointed, but that's what made it. The Legion Hut, we don't call it the Legion Arena or the Legion Building. It was the Legion Hut with a one light on a wash tub. People today can't fathom that, but it's what gave it the mystique. It's what gave it the aura. And the popcorn, I told y'all, I can smell the popcorn and the cigarette smoke. If you ain't never take a cigar and cook some popcorn and blend it together and smell it, you'll get close.
My wife would kill me.
Yeah, but we lost not the magic, because the magic was in the ring, but we lost the mystique of it all, the aura, and because it was sanitized, big nice building, air, heat, because the humidity played a role in it. The wrestlers are in the ring, 2 out of 3 falls, they're sweating like crazy. It looks like they're standing under a shower, and so it makes it more of a fight, more of a struggle. Anyway, you can tell I'm passionate about it, but people just missed it. Like if you didn't get to live it, you missed it, and we didn't record everything back then because we didn't have a way to do so. So you can't really show it.
James, real quick, I love the Louisville Gardens. I did not like the Evansville Coliseum because it was just hard to draw. Louisville, in my booking career, I would rather go to Louisville than any place for sure. Talking Memphis wrestling, this is the last thing we're going to do as we lead up to our final take of the day. I want to go with the video. Because folks, we've spent this entire show and it's researched and put together heavily, and Adam has added stuff as we're on the air. The great piece of history from TV5 he found and Channel 13 Studio Wrestling in Memphis. We've done Memphis wrestling history. I'm going to say a word that this video was labeled, and this says a lot. The most heated angle in Memphis wrestling history. That says a lot. The last video of the show today, it's a two-parter. We'll save part 2 for next week. But the best part is 9:37. The star of this video is the Honorable and Imperial Tojo Yamamoto. 9 minutes, 37 seconds, 9:37.
Everybody say we sneaky Jap. Jarrett said that we coward Jap. I tell you what, we not coward or sneaky Jap. We are Imperial Supreme Japanese. We tell you now.
Yeah.
I'm going to do now.
Yeah.
Jeff Jarrett comes in the TV today. I'm going to beat him up, and I'm going to paint his back yellow streak, and I'm going to beat his back with his belt like a dog. And
you don't need that paint in there. Why don't you just get it out of here?
Jarrett, bring his retarded son. I tell you what, I'm going to...
Can't say that word nowadays.
It was always politically correct back in the day.
Yeah. Behind his back. And then
you can't say that nowadays. You go to scream and go black.
You look like the yellow dog.
Yeah, part of being a heel.
Comments about Jerry Jarrett.
But now, my 2 Imperial wrestlers going in there. We're going to beat them like a dog, and we're going to paint this yellow streak behind their back. It's my show. Go.
Why don't you guys just leave the paint? Tojo, take the paint out of here. Now, you don't need that paint in here. Boy, I'll tell you what, he's already cost Tracy Smothers his Mid-America title today. Brings in a bucket of paint in the belt. Okay, Davey, we're big foot to the side of Jim Jameson, and they pound down hard. Jeff Jarrett, Pat Tanaka out here. Oh, no! Jeff! Oh.
This is a Randy West angle, Michael.
Pardon me for
This was fabulous.
I gotta tell you. Stop it. Yeah, they're stopping them. Uh-oh. Referee is
The TV station apparently fined us a lot of money because they had to clean up the mess. Look how vicious Tojo is here, Michael.
Hit on the head with that paint can, and now he is just killed. Yamamoto with the yellow paint all over him, where Jeff Jarrett and Tanaka sneaked up behind him. Tojo holding Jeff and beating Tojo.
Like when Tojo unfolded that belt, can you imagine getting whacked? You can't you can't mark that, buddy.
And
No.
Yamamoto alternately hitting him with that. Come on, Tojo.
Lance just makes it even better.
Look at it, Jerry. Calhoun, I don't blame him. He's steering clear of these crazy guys. Sato holding Jeff, and Tojo just continues to batter on him. Hits him with a kendo stick.
We had a shower in the TV station, Greg.
And Yamamoto.
I don't know if they have one now, but they don't have wrestling studio.
And Goto.
This is a heated angle, Michael.
It was, and you know that paint, that spilled paint actually sells. Here's Randy to the save.
I said, Lawler's gone, everybody's gone, there's nobody to help.
Let's get some help. Eddie. Here comes Eddie Marlin. Uh-oh. Goto drops him down there. Tojo! Will you get away from there and get out of here and take that?
Coward. It's time. You see what I mean?
You beat him out with a stick in there, and you hit him with a belt, left him.
Now I'm going to beat his father. You understand?
Yeah,
where is Jerry? Where is the coward Jerry?
Yeah, he doesn't happen to be here today, and I'll tell you, you wouldn't be doing. Will you guys quit that? Come on. Sato, Goto, leave him out. Get out of here. Boy, I'm telling you. You better get him back. They beat on him terribly. Oh, man. God, watch his back, Eddie. Watch his back.
This is uncalled for.
Well, you're right, Eddie.
Uncalled for. He's calling everybody dirty cowards. He's got two choices. He can come out here right now and fight me.
Come on now, Eddie. Eddie.
Get him out here.
No.
Get him out here and twin.
That's not the way to handle it, Eddie. Eddie's talking about firing Tojo if he doesn't come out, but I don't think that's the way to handle it. You need to help Jeff out of here. Eddie Marlin saying get Tojo.
Man, that Eddie Marlin was believable, Michael.
This is great. This is great.
And the people believe in Eddie.
None of them are sitting down. Well, maybe the front row is, but everybody else is just intrigued by this.
Well, Yamamoto's not out here, Eddie. You can get him
fired, but that's not going to save him from getting his beating. He's going to get his beating right.
No, come on, Eddie.
Yes,
Come. No.
This looks so real.
Eddie.
Personal issues. Pawpaw taking care of grandson, fighting for his honor.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks to Yamamoto and all of them, we come up here, we got the paint in here. They were going to paint somebody on the back. They ended up getting it dumped over Tojo, which we don't approve of in here. All right, Tojo. We've had enough.
Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
Hey, come on,
Where is
Tojo.
it? Where's the
Now
fuck?
listen.
Where's the fuck?
Let go of me now. I'm telling you. I'm going to tell you one thing. You're just about to get yourself sued. Wait till Eddie.
That surely had to have approval.
Then you come back in. He's not looking for
Well,
you.
approval with who?
Lance.
Oh, no. As Eddie comes
And right away, Tojo throws the salt.
Right in the eye.
think it's interesting that his two men are staying out, and it's just Tojo and Eddie.
Yeah.
I think that's a good part of the story.
Oh, man. Tojo is busting Eddie wide open. We need some help. This thing is just totally out of control. And Lawler's not back there? Get him out of here! Get him out of here! Come on, Jerry.
Tojo scooted, no contact. Leaves the heat intact. Wrestling 101.
This is real heat, guys.
I'm telling you what, Tojo. You are nothing but trash. Yeah, you're just trash. You're a disgrace to your own people. Come up there and do that. You never did a decent one-on-one thing. I'm embarrassed they even ever thought that you were a friend. Just get out of here. Can we get some help and get this thing straightened out and get these guys out of here? I'm going to tell you, Tojo. Yeah, I see what you did. You see how you did it, too. You're a
Put Randy's comment up there, please.
Banzai.
I just got to tell you.
Randy he walked up to Tojo and whispered something in his ear. What'd you tell him?
See if they can help.
I don't remember.
Come on, Tojo.
Probably say go to the back. Or go to left. I bet I told him to go to left.
You can beat me up. I'll sue you. I'll get you in criminal court. They'll have you. Now you get out
Randy
of here.
says he tried to paint all over the carpet back to the dressing room. Jared got mad because he had to pay so much for the cleanup. You see Eddie's back. That's how you draw money. And right now we are going to get Michael's brief recap of that picture, of that segment we just saw, his final take of the day. We'll get him out of here, and then we'll have Pat or Chris. Man, that just flustered me. That was so great. That's as wrestling as good as it gets. That is just fantastic stuff. We'll get to Chris in a minute with his last words, but Michael's last take, summing up what we've seen today on this show.
How do you sum it up? That's textbook. That's what the business is all about. And to me, this is so special that you would put this on the show, and you and Adam would put this kind of show together, because I was so down on wrestling this last night and this morning, and it was like, God, they're ruining the product and blah, blah, blah. And then you go back and you reach in the archives and you get one of the greatest heat shoots ever on television. And it's textbook. I can't describe it in any other way, shape, or form. It is exactly what you do to reach the emotion of fans who then spend money on the tickets and come to see your product, come to see the wrestling matches. They're going to come back. They're going to come back and see what in the heck is Jerry Jarrett, Jeff Jarrett, and Eddie Marlin going to do to counteract this hideous crime that is just perpetrated on the television right here in front of our eyes. Incredible.
We did it again, Michael, with this show. Last words and your goodbyes.
Love you, Randy. Coach, so good to see you, man. God bless you. And for the folks that have been watching, this is what wrestling's all about, folks. Get the word out to all your friends. We have a lot of fun doing this, but if you want a lesson on real wrestling, right here. God love you, Randy. Thank you.
Every Tuesday night. All right, Michael. Chris, say bye to Michael.
See you, Michael. Great to see you, my friend.
God bless. Good seeing you, bud.
All right, Michael St. John. Recap the angle, and then your thoughts on the entire show today and your goodbyes.
Well, the angle was fantastic, Randy. You were talking earlier about you had the TV show to sell tickets on Monday that had to sell a bunch of tickets because Tojo had the heat, and it was people were so invested and so angry at what had gone on. Plus, he put his hands on Lance, which was everybody's favorite uncle or grandfather back then. And if you touched Lance, people were really mad at you. So it just all the combination, and I mean, it was just fabulously done. My closing comments are: first of all, it's an honor to be back. I've really enjoyed it. It's great to be back. Yourself, Michael St. John, Randy West, you guys, the fans watching, these guys lived it. They were a part of it. They created it. They did it all. And to have them to have access to them and to let them share the insight and the memories and the things that went with it is priceless. So much respect to all of you. And it's just amazing what you guys did back then and how it still carries on today, because I turn people on to it all the time. And it is amazing the response I get from young to old. Like, oh man, I didn't know this existed. This is great. This is the best I've ever seen. And it is. And I'm thank God every day that I got to live it the first time and get to relive it with all of you.
Thank you for joining us again. You've been out for a minute or two, Chris. I appreciate it very much. Thanks to Randy West for watching today, the OG of Memphis video, and we appreciate him. We appreciate Adam Dunn doing a great job. Michael St. John, great. Chris Ellis, great. I'm Randy Hills, and I was here. And you were here. And we'll see you next Tuesday night on Talking Memphis Wrestling. Good night, everybody.